morning, y'all. Sandra Waldrop here, Kingdom Acres Homemaking and Homestead. I hope y'all have had a fantastic week so far, and I hope that y'all will be enjoying all the crafting today on Craft Around the Clock. This is my segment, bright and early this morning. So far, here recently, I've done a couple of crochet projects, right? We did the star, we did like the little bunting for my garland, my Americana garland, and we put a crocheted star on that. And then the following live, we did a crocheted hen, and then we put the stars from the day before on that, okay? So we've been doing some crocheting, okay? We're gonna keep on doing some crocheting today. I've got a fun, like, y'all aren't even expecting this. You're not even expecting this. It's gonna be so much fun. So if y'all missed those two previous lives where I did the star and the hen, you definitely want to go back into my page, or you can look on YouTube if this has been a while, because Facebook likes to kind of get rid of old lives after 30 days. It's only got 30-day life on Facebook, which is fine. I just download it and then upload it to YouTube. Same page name, Kingdom Acres Homemaking and Homestead, and you can find it there. Good morning, sweet Lori. How are you? Far West Texas. Oh gosh, where are you, Miss Lori? Hi, Tracy. I'm so happy I'm seeing comments. Oh my gosh, last week was horrible with the comments. I felt so bad because I knew people were commenting, but it's so discouraging when you comment and nobody's like responding to you, because even like when I would go into the comments on other people's lives, like I would comment and other people like commenting couldn't see my comment, or like I would have to go in and out to see other people's, like I kept having to like refresh. It was just crazy, just absolute pandemonium. So I got my Christmas cup going today, bah humbug. I am definitely not a bah humbug person, but I love Christmas. Last night, I just had a really overwhelming feeling that I really wanted to go like Christmas light watching. You know how you do that during Christmas. Anyways, let's get started, okay? Because this is going to take just a little bit of time to do, okay? So I ordered in these little pie pans, and we're gonna make a cherry pie today. But it's gonna be crocheted. Okay, it's so cute. This one's not complete, but I wanted to show you what we'd be starting with. Okay, so we've got our little baubles in there that look like cherries, and then we've got our ruffle crust, okay? And then we can either do lattice on top or we can do another star. Y'all tell me what you want, okay? But this is kind of the premise of what we're working on today. So I've got this red, and I like the burgundy red for my style. You can use like the bright red. This is just gonna be the dark cherry pie, right? Fort Stockton, okay, Miss Ma'am. We used to live in Odessa. It is so dry over there. Hello, Miss Teresa. Once I start getting to the other side of San Antonio, going that way, like I just start flaking skin. I start shedding my outer layer like a reptile. It's crazy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a slip knot, get the yarn on my crochet hook. Let me bring y'all in a little bit. I kind of want to try to do, hello, Clarice. Just kidding. All right. I want to try to do like the multi-screen thing so you can see my face and my fingers at the same time. I really need a manicure. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. All right, so I've got my string And I'm just going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go back through that first hole. I hope y'all are able to see this. The first hole to make a teeny tiny little baby ring, okay? Into the center of that baby ring. Okay, we're not going into like the chains, we're going into the center of the baby ring. We are going to do single crochet into here 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and then you will slip stitch back into that first one, that very first single crochet, to make a complete ring. Okay, now as you do this, it's super cool because normally the side facing you would be the top, but that's what it looks like on the part that's facing you when you're done, but you want it to look bobbly like that. So when you're done, you're actually going to have the wrong side, if you will, facing forward. Okay, so we got our 6. Now, the first row is going to have 6 bobbles, right? A bobble consists of, okay, it's complicated. I can't just say like a stitch, but it's double crochet stitches, but you don't complete the double crochet stitch, and I'm going to show you what I mean. But first thing we're going to do, okay, you pull on your little tail to kind of tighten up that center, and then you're going to chain 1, okay? Then into that very first hole where you slip stitched in, you're going to go back into it and you're going to do a single crochet, okay? And you will always do that between, because that's going to give you like the little indent to separate the bobbles, okay? So you'll do that, then you'll go like you're going to do a double crochet, and you're only going to pull through the first 2 little rings on your hook, and that's going to leave you with 2. And you're going to do that a total of 4 times, which will leave you 5 rings on your hook. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you'll do the 2, and then you'll see you've got your 5 right there, and then you'll pull through all those at once, and that's what's going to give you your bobble. You see that? Your first little bobble. Then you're not even going to chain 1. You're just going to go directly into the next hoe on your little ring that you did with your 6 single crochets, and you're going to do your next single crochet, and then you'll do that again. You'll do the weird double crochet thing. So here's 1, 2, I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way for y'all, sorry, 3, and 4. I do recommend, and then you're going to pull through those 5. I do recommend, if you're doing this for the first time, maybe trying it with like a color of yarn that's easy for you to differentiate. Okay, if you've got 40-year-old eyes, this may not be the best color. But okay, so here's into the next hole, the single crochet, and then again into that same hole, you'll do the weird double crochet thing, and that's just what I'm going to call it. Because that's what you do. So you just pull through, and then you go through the first 2 and leave that 3rd one there. Okay, and then one more, and then pull through the 5. So that gives us 3 bobbles so far, and you'll go all the way around and you'll have 6 bobbles on your first row. In between the rows of bobbles, you will do just a single crochet around your row. Do you need something, honey? Are you good? He's good. Hello, Cynthia. I'm sorry if I'm missing y'all's comments as you're coming in. I am looking at my fingers. Hello, Miss Irma. Let me just scroll. My sweet friends here. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Y'all tell me hello again. Sorry, I'm shaking y'all. Okay. So, once you do that several times, you will do a ruffle. For this size pan, this is a 5-inch pan. You're only gonna get 1, 2, 3 rows of bobbles. So you do your bobble, your single crochet, your bobbles, and then single crochet. Okay, in your single crochets, you will do 2 single crochet in each hole. Okay, and I'll try to do a little something to like better instruct this. I hate to just sit here with my fingers in your face the whole time. But let's finish this row so I can at least show you the ruffle. Okay, so let's go into the next one. Let's do single crochet. That's what my plan was. And then I always start feeling awkward. So let's see. There's 1, 2. I'm like, they're just staring at me and staring at something else. Okay, it's fine. That way I can at least show you guys what we're doing here. So there's the next bobble, and then only got 2 more bobbles to go. And then I'll show you that single crochet row. Okay, so here's our weird double crochet thing where we only go through 2, and then we just keep building on our hook until we have 5 rings. And then, see, there's my 5 rings, and then I'm going to pull through all of them, okay? And then the last one, my single crochet to pull that top down. Look it. You could even make little like flowers doing this. That would be cute, little flowers. Okay. Focus, Sandra, focus. And 2. Yesterday, I sat there watching like 20 episodes of the Brady Bunch. My children had never seen the Brady Bunch. We are more the Waltons people. Okay, so we've got our 6. I'm just going to go back into that very first single stitch and do a slip stitch. And there we go. There's our little first row of bobbles. Okay. Oh, this light is making me sweat. It's fine. Glisten. Girls don't sweat, right? All right. So we've got our bobbles. Now we're going to do our single stitch. 2 in each hole, okay? So you should have, because you did a single stitch and then you did your bobble, each hole should have 2 stitches in it from your first row, right? So you should have a total of 12 stitches here. So by the time you're done with your row of single stitches, you should have 24 stitches. Okay, so don't wrap. We're just doing singles. So here's 1, 2, and then into the next one. And then as you go into your other layers, your other rows, when you get to the single stitch row, you'll do just like we did on the hen, and you will do double, single, and then the next row will be, or not double, 2 singles, and then 1 single, 2 single, 1 single, and then you'll do 2 single, 1 single, 1 single, 2 singles, 1 single, 1 single in the holes. So you will have all that you need. Okay, I'm just gonna go through this really quickly. So, really quickly if it cooperates with me. It's like, oh, you wanna go fast? We're gonna slow you down. I got bit by a mosquito on the top of my foot and it is driving me bonkers. How are the mosquitoes where y'all are? We were at a show with my daughter's cow on Saturday, and I went into the bathroom with her so she could change into her good clothes to go into the ring. And this little girl was in there with her mom, and she was like phlegmy and, you know, all the boogers and stuff. And the lady was like, I don't even know where this came from. She's like, she's not sick. She's just like running like crazy. I was like, they've been spraying for the mosquitoes. Okay. And if that stuff kills mosquitoes, I can imagine poison's poison, right? So I'm sure her body just does not like breathing in the poison. She was like, that makes sense. I was like, yep. So, all right. And then we're back around to are we back around? No, we're not. Let's see. Oh, whoops. 1, 2, okay. And that's the last hole. And then we'll just slip stitch back into that first one, if it will let me. Okay, there we go. And so that's our first round of bobble. Okay, I'm just gonna tie this off, and this is just gonna be my little sample size, if you will. Don't call people short, call them sample size. Good morning, Miss Cindy. So there's that. All right, now we're gonna do, if I can find the end of my yarn. All right. Now I'm just gonna show you the ruffle. The ruffle is super easy. Let me drop my crochet hook first because that's always part of it. And we're just gonna pull that right through and connect it. Okay, so that's how we're gonna change. That's how we're going to change colors here. Then you're just gonna chain 3. Okay, and then into each hole, every single hole, you are going to do 6 double crochets. So on the first one, when you chain 3, that counts as 1. So you're just gonna do 5 more into that hole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make 6 total. Okay, and then you're just gonna keep going. Into your next one, you'll just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, come on. 5 and 6. Okay, and so it really squishes them in, and it gives you that really pretty, like, scallop looking edge. Not really scallop, but just the ruffly edge that we all like. If you wanted to, let me zoom out. Hello, I'm back. If you really wanted to do just a straight scallop, you absolutely could, the same way we did the scallops on the edge of the hen, that bottom row of the hen. I actually have a hen here, I can show you that sort of look. You could definitely do that instead of the ruffle if you wanted it to lay flat. I like ruffles, so I really wanted it to be like really like flamboyant like me. All right, so let's go ahead and start doing our little whatchamathingy here. I forgot to grab, no matter how many times I told myself to grab my sanding block from my back room, I forgot to grab it. And I think it's because when I was bringing out my tub of paints, my jar of instant coffee fell and shattered everywhere. And so I went into cleaning up glass mode, which is not a big deal. It's from Dollar Tree, but it distracted me enough that I forgot my sander. So if you're doing this, you'll want to sand this, because if you don't, it's probably going to want to chip if you're going to be moving it around a whole lot. I am not going to be moving it around probably. I'm looking over here instead of over there. I'm here. Ooh. Aw, thank you, Miss Irma. More coffee. My husband, my dear sweet husband, bought me a new low acid organic coffee so that I can have caffeine and not become homicidal. In an effort to, you know, take care of my body and its needs and things. It was not inexpensive, right? It was a little bit on the pricier side. And it literally tastes like, I don't know. I want to say like day old truck driver coffee that has been watered down. That's what it tastes like. I'm sure I will get used to it. I'm just going to use the black apple barrel paint on this. I just don't want it to be this color that it came as. So we're going to see if we can even get this to stick on here without sanding it. Because it's very non-stick. Look at it. It is literally, it's literally just like beading on here. We might have to do a couple layers of it. That's probably what we will end up doing. I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna dry it and then I'll go over it with chalk paint. We're just gonna layer this until it sticks, probably. If you had some Bonding Boss or whatever that cool stuff is that all y'all professionals use, definitely probably want to do that. Or remember your sanding block. Got it kind of goopy. That's fine. I'm not gonna be real crazy about the edges because I did the ruffles, and the ruffles is going to hide a good portion of the top. So let's see. Okay, good enough. But yeah, look at that. It's like beading on there. Very, very not cool. I don't know if you've ever seen Zoolander, but whenever I say it like that, that's who I'm thinking of whenever I say it like that. I don't think that I ever like actually watched that movie from beginning to end. I remember when I was in school and it came out, it was a huge hit for a great many people. But I was a distracted TV watcher long before cell phones were smart. I would sit there and I would crochet when I was in school. Not in school, but like, you know, when I was young enough to be a school child. I would sit there and crochet and miss half the movie. All right, let's try this. So there's a big event coming up tomorrow and Saturday in Craft Around the Clock. I hope y'all will join. I'm not scheduled for it. We've got things going on. Y'all, we are having a crisis here at the Waldrop home. My well, Tuesday, I had a little girl here who I'm tutoring, and we were literally in the middle of class, and one of my daughters goes, "There's no water. Like, there's very little water pressure." And I was like, oh no. So I told my son, go outside and prime the well, because usually that's all it takes is just priming the well. And you build that pressure back up and we're fine. Priming the well did not work. So husband leaves work, comes home with a brand new pressure switch. He's like, this'll do it. Did not work. So we load up into the car, go up to the well place and buy a new control box. Almost like $200. It was not cheap. That did not work. So we call the well guy and he's like, well, did you check and make sure it's getting power down to the pump? He's like, because if it is and it's still not kicking on, then the pump is out. The pump that goes way down into the ground and lives down there to shoot the water up to us, he's like, that's probably burned up. It was getting full power. The multimeter showed it's like a 240 volts situation. It showed up like 239, 242, just, you know, depending how you're holding it. So, and we live at sea level, right? It doesn't take a whole lot of digging to get to water here. Our well sits at 150 feet. The pump is only at like 80 feet or something. So my husband and son yesterday pulled it out by hand. We did not have the well guy out because we are not financially in a place where we can just like call the well guy, you know? So they pull it out by hand, replace everything. The pump, the piping, all that stuff, because you have to, which that was like a lot of money to do all that themselves, just to purchase everything to do it. It was a ton of money. Still not working. We do not know what is going on. So if y'all could just say a little prayer for us, because we don't know what's happening. We do not know what's happening. Say a little prayer for us. Yeah, so thankfully, like, we live on 5-acre lots of land around here. I mean, I think the people next door to us have like either 10 or 7 or 10 or something like that. Anyways, the people to the side of us, actually, the husband's parents built this house. And that's the only reason why we know so much about the well, like where it sits and all that stuff. That guy has worked on this well before with his parents. And so, like, he's pulled that well out, that pump out before by hand, like, many a moon ago. And so, they went ahead and just, like, ran a hose from their pump house to one of our outdoor faucets. I'm not really, like, knowledgeable on why or how all that works. But, so we've been having water. We've been piggybacking water off of them. I mean, you can't like do laundry or anything, but you can shower, which is my biggest concern. Gotta be able to shower, gotta be able to do dishes, all that stuff. And so, this is actually chalkboard paint, by the way. I got this at Five Below, and I just use it like regular chalk paint. It's fine. So that's what we're dealing with over here. And so my husband's out there as we speak, scratching his head and rewiring and looking around, YouTubing, and, you know, asking the chat, where did I go wrong? And so, I mean, it can only be one of those three things, logically, unless we're out of water, which I know we're not. We sit at sea level for one, and for another thing, we could literally hear it come out of the water when they were pulling it up. So, I don't know what's happening. There he goes back out. Going back out there to do the things. The man really is the king of figuring it out, though. He was raised by a single mom. They never had much of anything to, their two pennies to rub together, you know. They never had any of that. Hello. Thank you, Miss Lori. And so, since he was a young boy, he's been helping figure out things for his mom. He's been fixing her cars, changing, you know, doing regular maintenance on it because she couldn't afford to just take it in somewhere. So, I am very confident in his abilities to figure things out. I always tell my girls, I'm like, when you're looking for a husband, they don't look, but somebody's applying to be your husband, make sure they know how to do things. Because you definitely want a husband that has some skills. Ah! I touched the wet paint. That paint all over me. I can never stay clean, y'all. I can never stay clean. Y'all know me. I want to hurry up and get this part done so that we can get to building our pie. I even made little strips of lattice for the top of our pie. It's going to be so stinking cute. I'm so excited. I just want to get this done. Let me do one more little something here so that we can do some cinnamon sprinkles. It doesn't even have to be like full on. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of pat it on here so it can look kind of textury. And again, I'm not really worried about going up and around the sides because, or towards the rim anyways, because those ruffles are gonna cover quite a bit of the side. This project is so simple, and I just feel like it is like so granny. It is just so cute. I'm loving, loving, loving all the little crochet crafts. I've also been toying with the idea of doing like a subscription group for the crochet crafting stuff. If that is something that you would be interested in, please let me know, because it would be very affordable. But I like that it's not just crochet. Like a lot of the things that I look at online when you say crochet, it is literally a crochet project from start to finish. And that's not really my vibe, to use a young word. That's not really my thing. I like to do a conglomeration of crafting things, right? So, it's gonna be fun, so much fun. We have to hire everything to be fixed. Oh no, Miss Cindy, that's so hard because you literally have to be able to afford anything at a moment's notice. We were not raised with a whole lot of financial education to be able to really, like, in the 40 years we've been alive, we have not been able to achieve like a very good savings. Anytime we get any money saved, something happens and we have to use it right away. Or, you know, like, it's just, and I know that some of that is literally just like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, we live off of one income, and like everything I do in the homeschool world is a ministry, and so I don't get paid for any of the stuff that I do. It was so funny. Not over the summer, it's just now summer. At the end of the school year, I put on this massive event. I put on a field day event. Let me swap this out real quick. I put on a field day event, and the county recently defunded their, not defunded, but they reduced the funding for their parks and rec department by like 60%. So things that used to be free, they're now charging for because they need the money for like the upkeep and stuff. So we're doing kayaking, archery, like all sorts of stuff, plus like the gunny sack races and all kinds of silly games and stuff. And I organized this for like 150 kids. And when I told everybody that it was $10 a kid, $10 to do something like that is like insanely cheap, right? I got sponsors to provide snacks. I got sponsors to provide drinks. Sponsors for this, sponsors for that. The kids got cool lanyards. They got, you know, color-coded fabric and stuff, wristbands and whatnot to wear that day for their group. Some of the moms were like, well, where is the $10 going? Even if I wanted to charge $10 for an event of that magnitude, I feel like I would be totally okay charging $10. But they were like, but the backlash I got from charging $10, that wasn't even my fee. That was going straight to the Parks and Rec department. Like, that was what they asked for. On my end, everything was done for free. Hours of work, all this stuff, and people were throwing a fit. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't think that I'm ever going to be able to make any money in the homeschool community, which is fine. I do it all because I'm called to it, but I was just like, that is never going to be a source of income for me. So even if I could try to charge for homeschooling events and things like that, I don't think anybody would actually pay, because they are not about paying for things. Anyways, what do y'all think about that? Would y'all be offended? I'm not offended. I'm not. It just, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, you just kind of know where you'll be standing. Oh, look at this. The bottom was still a little wet on that. It's fine. Look at that. How cute it is. Oh my gosh, we only have like 8 minutes. All right. So that is stuck on there. I just hot glued it on. Whether it will stay long term or not, I'm not really sure, because I didn't get to sand my thing. Sanding it will definitely help. So if you are going to be doing this, I suggest sanding it. Okay, so here are our options. We have this star, which we could put on top, which would be really cute. so cute. Or we can do the lattice. The lattice is super cute. That one goes like that. Anyways, I'm just kind of throwing it on there for y'all so you can see what we'd be working with. Did y'all know that the beginning of The Lion King, when they're like, Zabaya, it literally means, look, there's a lion. Oh my gosh. Isn't that cute? Oh my gosh. Look, there's some lettuce on my pie. Thank you, Miss Lori. Okay, so what are we doing? Lattice or star? Place your vote. Hurry, because we've only got like 7 minutes. Lattice. You like the lattice? I think the lattice is so stinking adorable. I love it so much. Okay, and here's my thought. We could do the lattice, and then we could use like raffia and do a little, either wrap it, you know, do like and bow on top, or we could use this fabric and do like a fabric strip with that. Either way, I just think it's so stinking cute. I just love it. But we have to sew these lattice pieces on, okay? That's gonna take me more than 7 minutes, all right? But hear me out. I will post a picture. Now, when you do these, it's literally just a double, there's a chain, and then you come back up and do a single stitch all the way up. The longest piece I did was 25 chains, and then you skip 2 and come into the 3rd to start your little ribbon here, okay? And you're just going to take these ends. That's why both ends are on the over here part, the one side. I always get all nervous up, like when I'm almost out of time and I know I'm not gonna finish. I'm like, ah! But, okay, so you're gonna do that. I want the wrong side up. I don't want the front side, what would be considered the front side. I feel like the back side of it has more texture and actually looks more lattice-like. So, and I'm literally just pulling the 2 strings through, and then I'm gonna flip it over and tie it to my crust. And then I'll trim that off later. Okay, and I want to do the centerpieces first because that's going to give me placement for my other pieces. All right, let me snippety snip. If I can ever find the end of this. Oh, here we go. It's attached to this. That's right. I did do that, didn't I? Okay. You don't need a lot, just a little piece, but you need enough to work with. So you are going to cut a little bit more than you actually need, but that's okay. So on this side, so that I don't have to string each side like I did the others, I'm going to come in through the back. Oh, whoops. Wrong side. That one already had it. And come in through the back and stick it through that edge, and then I'll go back through with it. And so I have those 2 ends. And then that's tied right there. Oh, it just came up. I felt it detach because my hot glue wasn't very hot when I was trying to get it to stick. I just put a little bit more. And I got a little bit of paint on there. That is fine. It's fine, it's fine, everything's fine. You know, the world's burning down around me and I'm over here crocheting and crafting. No the water. Husband's outside fixing to just like take an axe to the whole wheel pump situation. Just kidding. He's not. He's just in problem solving mode. You know these men. I would be, after doing all that and having it not work, I'd be like, well, I guess we're just living without water the rest of our days. Call the realtor, we're selling. That would be me. Praise God I'm not a man, because that is where I would be. We are selling this place. Let's get out of here. Good morning, Lena. Which I do eventually want to sell. I don't want to live in this house forever because I have 4 children and eventually I'm going to have grandchildren, and 4 children tend to make quite a few grandchildren, and I'm going to need more rooms. Is that how you're supposed to buy a home when you get older? You buy a house with enough rooms for your kids and your grandchildren to come and have sleepovers and all that. I just feel like that's the logical thing to do. When I was a kid, we would go and visit my grandparents, and they would put all the boys up in the attic, because they had like a finished attic. They weren't just like shoved in the attic, but it was a finished attic. And I got my own bedroom. They had the computer room, and they always kept it for me because we were the only ones out of all of their kids. My dad was the only one that didn't live close by. So when we drove there, it was like a 4-hour drive, and so we were staying the night. So they just kept that one room for me because I was the only girl. 5 boys and 1 girl. And they were like, well, Sandra gets her own room. And so they always called their computer room my bedroom. And I always felt so special going to my grandma and grandpa's house. Isn't that sweet? That's what I want for my grandkids. I want them to have their own special rooms. Am I supposed to do that? No, you want to buy a tiny home? Aaron's like, once these kids are gone, that's it. I'm done. I get it. I get it. All right. So I'm going to just place these because I know y'all are about to head over to see the next presenter. But if you guys are interested in a subscription group, let me know, and I'm gonna figure it out. That is something that I'm trying to figure out currently, how to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what comes of that. And I'm still working on Crabapple Holler. If you've been waiting on that, I'm sorry. Things have gotten wild around here. But, all right, so there we go. I'm going to do some raffia, maybe a little bit of fabric. We'll see. I will post a picture. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being with me here this morning. If you are catching me later today and that live box is gray, I'm no longer live. Just comment replay, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Catch me over on YouTube. Go and look at my YouTube channel. I'm sharing all kinds of stuff over there too. All right. Love y'all. I'll see y'all soon. And thank you for homemaking a homemade home with me today. Go back to Craft Around the Clock and hit that refresh. Bye, guys.